I believe that successful community policing requires three components: governmental agencies, community leaders, and community participation. My involvement in community policing began back in 2011. We were having a problem with prostitution and drug use in our driveway, and our children were afraid to play back there. So I would call the police, and other neighbors would call the police, and they would come, but quite frequently they would come after the individuals, had done what they needed to do, and then they left. So I got in touch with our state rep, Sherelle Parker. I let her know what was going on, and she asked me to document each incident and each call, forward it to her office, and then she would in turn communicate with our 14th district captain. And she did that. She followed through with that. A little later on, I had an opportunity to meet our community relations officer and a representative from Town Watch Integrated Services during a meeting, community meeting, that Sherelle Parker scheduled. And as a result of that, I began attending monthly captains meetings and police service meetings, which occur in every district every month, and they're open to anyone. And these provide a forum for residents to be able to present any concerns that they have, be it quality of life, crime issues, or even negative interactions with the police department. Later on, I decided to start a community town watch because the police stress during these meetings that they can't do everything alone. They need community participation. So now we have 13 members in our town watch, and they're strategically located to be our eyes and ears, and they reside on 3 different blocks, including my own. So that's one component. Also, in terms of involving our neighbors became more involved in the life of our block through a beautification contest sponsored by Philadelphia More Beautiful. And even though we did not win, some positive things did grow out of it. Namely, it laid the groundwork for setting goals for the block, and it brought us together and gave the neighbors an opportunity to get to know one another. So I later created a survey to determine future projects, and we put in place a finance team to manage our $150 that we won as a part of our prize money, and we became an IRS designated homeowners association, opened up a bank account. The neighbor set the agenda, and I oversaw it, and the goals that we set, which were pretty small. We wanted to purchase a snow blower, purchase seasonal flowers, and there was one other one. Seasonal flower, and host a block party, and we did that. And our current project now is the acquisition of security cameras. And I had an opportunity today to meet with our PSA Lieutenant Anthony Buchanico, who has a background in risk assessments through the Department of Homeland Security. And he drove our block and then walked our block, and then we walked together, and he showed us where we need to place those cameras. So now our block functions as a well-oiled machine. We communicate with one another. We have a telephone directory. We have an email list. And most importantly, our neighbors are getting to know each other's patterns. So in the event something happens, they get on the phone, they call me, we call 911, and the situation is dealt with. And then I do a follow-up with Lieutenant Buchanico, Captain Kennebrew, and State Rep Sherelle Parker. So we all stay in the loop together. My involvement in our community is not just limited to our block. Through my role in PDAC as a volunteer, earlier this year I helped to create a school assembly for Earth Day at Pennypacker Elementary School. And I brought in our PDAC group, in addition to our captain, our community relations officer, and our crime prevention officer, and a representative from police clergy. The children had an opportunity to ask the police questions about what they do, and we played a game with them. And afterwards, we did a beautification project outside the school. We planted a tree and some flowers. So that day, 300 children were positively impacted by what the police department does, and they got to know the leaders in their community.